Hi everyone, and welcome back to Just with Dara. This is the second episode of season two. So season two, episode two, and the first episode of July, which is my birthday month. Yay! Okay, anyways, so I have another guest this episode, and she's actually another reoccurring guest. It's Keziah from the Misogyny episode. So go ahead and introduce yourself again, Keziah.
Hi everyone. My name is Keziah. I'm 15 and going into sophomore year, and I'm so glad that Dear Simi asked me to be on this podcast today.
Yeah, thank you. So, as you guys can tell, we're talking about periods today. We should normalize talking about periods because it's not something that women should feel ashamed of, or that they should feel embarrassed about, or that people should look down on other women for, anyways, because it's a natural thing. So, yeah, anyways, I have a few kind of topics that we're just going to kind of discuss. And yeah, so let's get started. So, first of all, periods are a natural thing, just like having to pee or eat. So why can we openly say that we need to use the restroom or eat, but girls get shamed for openly talking about periods? So this reminds me of like this time, I think last year or so. So my friends and I were just like talking amongst ourselves, like we were talking out loud or wait, by out loud I mean like super loud to where like everybody can hear. And we were just like talking amongst ourselves about like our period and stuff and like relating on that. And then there are these boys in our class who were like just being really ignorant about it and like, oh, that's so disgusting, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, we weren't even talking to you, first of all. Second of all, why are you acting so ignorant? Because that's so stupid. Like, I don't even really know how to put it into words, but it's just so dumb. And it really irks me when other, like, boys or other people are saying, like when they act weird when you're talking about your period, but like it's just a natural thing that happens. And there's no reason to make other people feel bad for having one or act as if they can't talk about it in public because it's like a shameful thing. And this also reminds me of when before, like when my mom and I would like go to the store to like buy pads, we typically would either do like a self checkout or like go to a line with like a woman who's a cashier. And I remember like we both did it like subconsciously, like we didn't really think much of it. Then I remember I talked with her one day and I was like, I shouldn't be ashamed of it because it's a natural thing. And I don't like, I'm not saying that I'm going to purposely go to like a male cashier, but like, I just want to do it to where like I'm not looking for a female cashier or trying to go into the self checkout line because I'm buying pads. So like to where I would want it to be that I whoever I see first is whoever I go to regardless of their gender. And that should be the normal thing because I mean back to like the whole eating thing because I mean it is a natural thing when you're buying food you're not looking for a specific gender for the cashier, like you're just going into the line and moving on with your day. And so that's just why I think it's to a point where like it shouldn't be something that people have to feel bad about or have to feel like, oh, I don't want like guys to see this, but like I mean most of the time most every girl goes through it. So I mean you just kind of have to embrace it honestly and stop looking at it as if it's like a bad thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's been going on since like the beginning of time. So I really don't understand why like guys are so grossed out by it. It's a normal bodily function that almost all women like have to go through. So it really doesn't make sense to me why like people are so closed off about it or how it's such a quote unquote touchy subject.
Yeah, that that's you're correct, completely correct, and that goes into like our next kind of point, which is it stems from the male-dominated society that we live in. Many men or boys, not all, of course, but a significant enough amount to say many, look at a woman or young girl as disgusting for talking about her period or simply even having one. And this goes back to what I was saying before of like those boys like say, "Oh, that's disgusting," blah blah blah. And now this reminds me of another story, bro. I have so many stories about this. So like last year in my algebra class, I guess like this girl from the previous period had period. Sorry. Anyways, this girl from the previous period had I guess maybe like left behind a pad on the floor like on accident, maybe like dropped from her bag or something. And then when we walked in the class, everybody was like, "Oh, there's a pad on the floor, blah blah." And then like these two guys were playing like soccer with it on the floor. I was like, "Bro, like how immature do you have to be? Like, are you actually kidding me?" And they're like kicking it around as if it was like I don't even know. Like, what were the, like, my friends are just like, what are they doing? Like, I'm actually confused. And our teacher was like, just pick it up and put it in the trash can. Like, you're really overthinking this and you're really making it a bigger deal than it has to be. So that's just kind of what I get reminded of when I said that. But like, I was so confused because we were all just like, it's not like it's not, I don't know how to even say, like, I think they're, like, acting as if it's, like, trash or something, which, like, I guess I don't even know. Like, it wasn't like it was used, like, it was closed, it was unopened, and they were, like, throwing it around as if it was, like, a used tissue or something, or a used Kleenex, when they literally coulda just picked it up and put it in the trash can. It was not that big a deal, and they made it a much bigger deal than it had to be. But, yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, literally, I agree. That is so immature. Like, they're literally playing with it like it's a toy. That's really strange to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering, do you have any like, or have you experienced yourself like first-handedly, like any boys or men or guys, whatever, like acting weird or disgusted when somebody else or you were talking about your period or their period, or yeah, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, like plenty of them. I don't have like a specific story, but I do remember like in middle school, like talking about it with my friends and like guys around us like looking at us weird and like being disgusted by it. But me and my friends just like ignored them. So,
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do. Just ignore them. I feel like sometimes I don't think I necessarily have, but I've seen like some other people. I think maybe I kind of considered it, but like we'll stop talking about it because guys are looking at us weird. But like they're not there to dictate our conversation. Like I could care less what you want me to talk about or what you feel uncomfortable about me hearing about
right.
me about what I could care less about what you feel uncomfortable hearing. Yes, that's speaking English there to me. Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, because it's like it's not like I'm talking directly to them about it. And I feel like if I'm talking to my friends and you happen to overhear it, that's not my problem. Close your ears. I'm sorry. But I do get if like I was talking directly to them and maybe they just don't want to hear about that. I guess I can't really say about that because I mean if they don't, they know like I'm not gonna force you. So that's okay.
Yeah,
But when it's just like when I'm not talking to you and you're looking at me weird, I don't like that and that kind of bothers me. So yeah, the best thing to do about that would just be to ignore them because I mean, it's not their business anyways. So,
exactly.
anyways, the next one would be like, okay, things like leaking through on pants are normal. Not to say that we should let a woman or girl walk around with blood on her pants without letting her know respectfully because it's normal, but we also shouldn't bash her for having it. It shouldn't be a touchy subject like you were saying before. So that's like, I think I remember last year, was it? Okay, yeah, it was last year. Everything's last year. Anyways. And when we were walking back from our chorus class, there's this girl who had like she had leaked through on her pants, and her friends like let her know. They're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like," and it wasn't a big deal. And I was like, "Perfect, like that's how it should be. Like, don't make it a bigger deal than it needs to be." But I know that like, and because it was chorus, there was only like a few guys. I don't even think they really noticed, anyways. But I know that like if it was a different class, I feel like the guys would make a big deal about it, start laughing, start joking around, pointing as if it's like some taboo or whatever. But it shouldn't be like that because I feel like every girl has had a period. I feel like she's leaked through at least once, even if it wasn't a lot. Because like it's just a normal thing. I mean, I know I have. I'm sure you have before. So the way that we should refer to it, or like if somebody is and you see that in public, you should just let them know in a nice way and not. And it shouldn't even be like something that's like a big deal. Because like I don't know. I don't know how to properly explain this. But okay, like this. So let's say like somebody's like zipper is like unzipped and most people would just like tell them, oh, by the way, your zipper's unzipped, and it's like that simple and that's it, and the discussion. So I feel like it should just be that simple if you see that happen, instead of like making fun of them or laughing about it or pointing at them, or like I don't know if people do this, but I'm sure somebody has, which would be really bad, like take pictures of them to like mock them. That's really bad. Yeah.
Right. I agree. And I've bled through plenty of times, like last year in like my French class after lunch, and I like got up to go throw my lunch away or something. And then my friend told me, and I was wearing my new outfit too. That's what made me mad. Please. And like it wasn't a big deal or whatever. And like the thing is that women shouldn't have to be embarrassed that they bled through. Like it's a normal thing and it happens. And sometimes you forget to change your pad or whatever tampon, whatever you wear, or you just have a really heavy flow that day. So it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I don't understand people who are like, oh, they see someone who's bled through and like they're like, oh, that's none of my business, this, and that. Like you should let the person know because Like, if someone had something stuck in their teeth, you would tell them, or if something was in
Yeah.
their hair, or something like that. So that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like the stuck in their teeth, something like that, because you would tell them. And I mean, I feel like it's kind of mean to just let them walk around like that and not let them
Right.
know. Because like, then if they do find out, it could be from like somebody mocking them when you could have just told them nicely in the first place.
Exactly.
But now, so I was contemplating telling this story or not, and I was at first I said like no, I'm not going to, but I guess I just will. Since you said like your whole like after French class thing, I was like okay, maybe I'll just. So I remember I was in seventh grade. I was like, yeah. So I started my period when I was 12, which was when I was in seventh grade. And I
Mhm.
think it was like the second time I had it or something. And I remember we had this like, it was like, okay, yeah. So during this time, I had like really heavy flows because I had just started. So I knew like whenever I was on my period in school, I always had a jacket around me, like on my waist. Cause I was like, I'm not risking anything, bro. So I just always had a jacket around me just in case. And so I remember like, um, we were in like I think fourth period, yeah. So we at this time we had like it wasn't like the normal class. We were doing this kind of I don't remember what it's called, but we like she arranged the chairs to where they were like all in like a circle, and so we were having this like discussion thing, and it was pretty cool. I remember I was like so happy that day because like the discussion thing was actually fun. I was like, yes, I'm in a good mood. Then I remember we were about to leave class, and so I was always like the last person in class because kind of slow. But anyways, so my friends they were waiting for me like to go, and I was like, and I felt something in my soul, bro, that was telling me like I feel like I just leaked through right now. So I was like, oh, you guys can just go ahead because like I didn't want them to like be waiting because like I needed to see. So then they left, the teacher left, and like it was just like during class change. And then I remember getting up and I was like, oh God, please, please don't let me have bled through right now. And well, it turns out that I did, sadly. And at this time, I had the jacket around my waist, so I don't even know how that happened. I think I just got too comfortable with what was going on with that discussion, and I was like, "Let me just sit however way I want." And so that was the mistake. After that, I remember just being really like mad, I guess, because I was like, "Bro, like this is actually upsetting," because that was like the first time I ever bled through. And so then I remember I was riding the bus home that day, and throughout the whole time, I was just praying, like, "Let me just get home," because I feel like I really bled through bad. Like I just felt so uncomfortable. Then I got home and I realized that on my pants, because okay, another thing that was stupid. I wore like whitewashed jeans, which was really dumb. Because like, why would I wear white jeans when I'm on my period? But anyways, so it like bled through everywhere, and I was like, oh wow! Imagine if I didn't have my jacket, because I feel like I would have really been embarrassed if I didn't have my jacket, because like nobody else saw. It was just kind of like me who knew, and I guess this would be the first time I'm telling the story. I think I told my mom, obviously, but like yeah. So that just kind of reminded me of that at that point. But I know that for I would appreciate like if somebody told me, which I knew at that point, if my friends saw that they would have told me, which is good. So yeah, you should just let them know in a nice way because it's not like a big deal. Anyways, I think I'm rambling now. But moving on to the next one. Um, so majority of the time without periods, babies can't be born, including men. So those men who are immature when a girl may be talking about her period are just ignorant and stupid. So yeah, I guess I'll let you continue on this one because I think I've been talking too much. But go ahead.
I agree with that. And like the thing is, those same guys who make fun of the girls for like bleeding through or having periods or are disgusted by it, they're the same ones who want to get with them and like all that other extra stuff. So how can you want someone but not for who they fully are? That's what it is to me.
Exactly. You're actually 100% correct. Because um, when a guy has a like girlfriend or whatever, you do realize that she's gonna be on her period. So you're gonna have to be like you can't. It's not just like a well, I'll just be gone for that week or whatever, those 2 days. No, you're gonna still be there. So you kind of need
Right.
to get used to the idea of it. And it's the same thing with like I mean, your mom's had periods, so you shouldn't be acting like immature about it. Because I mean, yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, that actually reminded me. So, I realized this. I came to this terms like a few weeks ago, a month ago, not really sure. But so you know, like moms typically when they have children, or if they do have children, and when they're teaching like if they have daughters, they're teaching like their daughters about periods or whatever. And I was
Mhm.
thinking, yeah, okay, obviously I know I'm gonna do that because yeah. But I was thinking I feel like if I was to have sons too, I would also want to educate my sons on it too because I feel like that's where like the whole immaturity like stems from because they weren't like maybe properly taught about it. And so
Right.
I thought like maybe as I'm teaching my daughters about it, I'll teach my sons as well, so that there's no like weirdness about it, or like they don't really know about it. Because I mean, if they have sisters, then I think they should know too. And just in general, just like because it is a natural thing, like I was saying before, just to know in general. And also, it would also be like to also teach them like you shouldn't be making fun of other girls for having it in school, and you shouldn't be ignorant about it, and you should not be immature about it or anything like that. And I think that's a great thing to do because you don't want them to like grow up to be like making fun of other people for it. So yeah,
Right.
at that.
Heard those stories about like, older people, and not older people, but like young adults, and like dating or whatever, and like the girl will ask their boyfriend or whoever to go to the store to like get their pads or tampons or whatever, and the guy would feel uncomfortable like buying them
Hmm.
and stuff. And like clearly the cashier knows that it's not for you. So I don't understand why like it's such a like big stigma thing, and how it's such a big deal for some of them. Like they can't put their own like pride and ego aside to help their significant other like through like the pain and like whatever else they're enduring during their period.
Yeah, that's another thing. I feel like I also saw like some of those things where like the guys would just say like no, like they're not gonna buy it for them because like it's weird or embarrassing. I'm like, bro, like what? That's so weird to me that you wouldn't do it because it's not even that big a ass. Like if this goes back, I don't know why I keep equating these things to like eating food, but like if they asked you to buy them food, like you would probably say yes. So I mean, like it's not that big a deal. But
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, okay. Anyways, the next one is stop making fun of girls who are moody when on their periods. It's a real thing and it's normal to feel a type of way. So making them feel guilty for it is stupid. So I feel like, I mean, it's just all a part of the hormones. Like, you're gonna feel some type of way when you're on your period, and you might not always be in the best mood. And I feel like guys will make fun of you, like, oh, she's not in a good mood because she's on her period, da 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 da. And just like, bro, like, stop making fun of it because it's not funny, and it's actually like, I'm not like saying that like it's okay to be like mean or whatever, but sometimes we just don't feel like talking, and you know you should just respect that. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And like their mood could also be dependent on how bad the cramps are too. Because usually, um, like when the cramps are bad, you don't feel like talking to anyone. Like imagine if you had a leg cramp and everyone was trying to socialize with you and everyone was getting on your everlasting nerves. Like how would you feel? Or if you like had a stomach ache or something like that. It's like the exact same thing.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, you're exactly right because it's just like a cramp anywhere else. And I mean, cramps are really bad. So I know when I'm on my period and I'm having really bad cramps, and like if I didn't take medicine, I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to eat. Honestly, for me, like I just lose my appetite. I just want to stay by myself and like watch Netflix all day, and that's kind of for me. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like making fun of them or like um anything like that is just really stupid. So.
Literally. And guys shouldn't even have an opinion on that because I have no clue like what girls go through.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. And then the next one is also equating every single woman who may be annoyed at something to her being on her period is also ignorant and stupid. Women aren't allowed to show other emotions besides being caring or nurturing without being ridiculed. Everyone has emotions, so why is it when a woman expresses anger as men do, people assume that it's a hormone imbalance due to her period? Assuming a woman is on her period when expressing other emotions besides what women are socially known for in society is offensive and could lead to gaslighting. People who say this are invalidating women's emotions. So I know that you added this one in, Keziah, so I'll let you take the reins on this, but I completely agree with you 100%.
Oh yeah. So it's so aggravating and like degrading that women can't be like mad or irritated at something for and be ridic they can't be mad at something and then the guys will be like, "Oh, you're on your period" or something along those lines. Like um they are saying like, oh, it's not that bad. Like I like previously said, they say that's not that bad or whatever, but they have no clue of like what women go through and stuff. And literally, right before this podcast, I woke up today at like 5 o'clock in the morning because of my cramps and I couldn't sleep. And so I've been up since then. And keep in mind, I went to sleep at like around 3. So I only got like 2 hours of sleep. So, and they're like, oh yeah, the pain isn't that bad, but they have never even experienced it. So they shouldn't have any type of opinion on it at all.
Exactly. Anyways, that's like completely right because I think whenever people say things like if a woman's not feeling well or something like that, and like you were saying, um that assuming a woman is on her period when expressing other emotions besides what women are socially known for in society is offensive and could lead to gaslighting. And that's true because I know that sometimes when I feel like, oh yeah, okay, sometimes when I'm not feeling, or when I'm not like in my normal mood of like happiness or whatever, and I'm like maybe like kind of down or something, somebody asks me like, oh, are you on your period? Is that why like you're down? I'm like, bro, no, like I'm just having an off day. Like me having an off day does not mean I'm on my period. Like that's not how that works. So I think like you said, it's incredibly offensive to just assume that that's why they're not as happy or that's why they're down or whatever. Because when men are down, we're not asking them did they just get kicked in their privates or something like that. I don't know if that's a good example, but yeah. So like, I just think it's pretty ignorant, and I know I keep saying ignorant, but it is ignorant. So we should all try collectively as a whole to not always assume that when a woman is down or feeling pressed or anything like that, that she's on her period, and that's the reason why she's upset, because emotions come from it. Like there's a vast range of different emotions, and so just because somebody's not exactly feeling happy or being in a good mood doesn't always mean that it has to tie into them being on their period. So
Exactly. And
yeah.
I was gonna say, like they take other emotions, like I said before, the emotions that aren't caring or nurturing as what or other things kind and nice that women are known for in society, and they invalidate them and say that they're not as important just because they assume that women are on their period, and it's just really annoying at this point.
Yeah, it really is. So that kind of brings us to a close on this episode, and I hope that anybody who's listening to this episode, I hope that this episode has brought you joy, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. But also I hope that this episode actually educates people on periods, and I hope that it's like leads to people normalizing talking about periods because it's not something to be ashamed of, and it's a natural thing. So we shouldn't have to try to hide our conversations or hide the fact that we're buying pads or hide anything like that in general. So or hide our cravings or anything like that. So yeah, thank you Keziah for joining me on this episode. I had a lot of fun with you and I loved talking about this with you. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week with episode 3.
Bye
Bye.
guys.